Welcome with Whitney. This is a daily show that I've been doing for 7 days now. I guess it's officially been a week, and it has been a really wonderful learning experience for me and an opportunity to connect with people to talk about Web3 every single day. If you're brand new, welcome. I want to give you a heads up that I'm broadcasting on a number of different platforms, and I have had some tech difficulties, which every day I'm trying to tweak. It's been a little hard for me to figure out what the source of the tech difficulties are. So if you're watching the recording and things kind of go haywire, uh, there's nothing I could do about it when it's live, unless I'm getting notified. So, thank you in advance for your acceptance of the beauty of live streaming and the tech challenges that come along with it. And if you actually have information on live streaming, if you live stream yourself, send over your resources because I'm really working to optimize this since I'm continuing to do this series indefinitely. Also, I put up a website that has everything in one place, including an audio only version of this. So, since these videos tend to be between 30 minutes to an hour long, if you don't want to sit here and watch, if you'd rather just listen, go to whitneylauritsen.com/web3. That has the audio version of this. It's kind of a podcast, I guess, but it's not an official public podcast. It's technically private and just the recordings of this unedited. And then there's also the whole playlist of all of the previous episodes. There have been 6, although the third episode is where I had the most tech issues, and so I didn't even bother putting that up on the podcast. There's also, actually, I'm going to share my screen. Forgot I can do this. So on the Web3 with Whitney page, there's links to all the different platforms. So if you prefer in a different platform, such as TickTock, where I've actually had the least amount of tech issues, I'm about to go live on TikTok. Right now, I'm just on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn today. I also seem to be having issues with LinkedIn. It's been splitting these streams into multiple clips. So if you're over there, you might want to go over to YouTube. So those are all the options there. This is the YouTube playlist, as I mentioned. This is the audio recording. I upload each episode the day after once I get the files. And then down at the bottom, there's an option for you to join the Discord server that I'm working on. This has been my lower priority, so it's still a work in progress. But if you're interested in it, I recommend coming over and joining. You just need to get at least one of the well coin from Rally, which is my own cryptocurrency virtually. It's a creator coin. And I'm actually going to be talking about cryptocurrency as the theme today. Also, if you are watching the recording, just a heads up, if you ever have questions for me, send me a private message, leave me a comment, send me an email, reach out however you would like to ask questions. Let me know if I can adjust anything, like I said, but also if you have specific topics you want me to cover. And if you are watching live, thank you for being here. I am going live every single day about this same time. I've actually blocked it out on my calendar indefinitely. So every single day of the week, 7 days a week, around 2:45 to 3 p.m. Pacific time. Convert that to your time zone. If you want to show up live, we can actually treat this like a conversation. That's the whole point of doing this, is to be able to interact and have people chime in, and also have my big aim with this initially was for it to feel like a group work and accountability session. So I would love for you to devote time every day to understanding Web3 if you are interested in it. Even if you only tune in for 10 or 15 minutes of the broadcast, maybe you can spend 5 minutes before or after the broadcast doing some more research. Or you can listen to me as you're researching if you're able to multitask like that. The aim here is not just to listen to me speak and chat and share and all of that, but it's really also to make sure that you're blocking off time to learn. As I've said in most of these episodes, I'm treating Web3 like learning a new language. And just like I studied French back in high school, what you practice it every day, you get more confident and comfortable and more knowledgeable about it. So we're all in this together. Today's topic specifically is something that's actually going to be a bit of a discovery process. I'm going to pull up my notes in Notion to really talk about some of the basics of cryptocurrency, break that down. But I also want to share some real-time research that I'm going to do on Twitter because there's a lot going on in the cryptocurrency world today, which is Monday, January 24th. So I'm going to learn right alongside with you. And again, if you want to research too, we can tackle this. If you're watching live, like, let's learn together. Sound good? All right. I'm going to launch the TickTock live and then I'm going to dive into my Notion notes. Oh, let me see here. I think I'm all. No, this did not work the way I wanted it to. The beauty. Oh, actually it did. Okay, hold on a second. I just have to, can I change my name? Nope. I think I just pressed go live. I'm trying out a new element of TikTok today. Like I scheduled the live stream in advance, and I've never done this before. So let's see. Also, my hair has been wacky today. Okay, I'm going live on TikTok. And then we'll kick things off. Okay, so since TikTok isn't really treated like a recording like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn are, I kind of use TikTok as more of an interaction element. And as I mentioned, it's been really smooth. There's a lot of people engaged on TikTok. It's really cool. I'm a huge fan of TikTok. So if you're watching on another platform, come on over to TikTok. You might really enjoy it over there even more than wherever else you're watching. So I'm going to pull up, as promised, my notes on cryptocurrency. We're going to break down what cryptocurrency means. As I've mentioned in most of these episodes, my aim here is to never talk over anybody's head, to really keep it basic, foundational, and learn as we go. Things may get more advanced the more I do this series, but I always want you to know that you can come to this place with the beginner's mindset, which I'm really trying to have. Cryptocurrency, I guess, out of anything in Web3, seems to be something that more people are at least subtly knowledgeable about. Most people have heard about Bitcoin. Maybe you've heard of Ethereum. You probably are at least familiar with the term crypto and cryptocurrency. But part of this is not just having awareness and knowledge of it. It's also working on your biases and your opinions and really understanding why you feel the way that you do. And my goal is also to challenge you to think differently while I'm challenging myself and acknowledging ignorances and knowing that things are shifting. And today specifically, I thought this would be a really good topic because cryptocurrency is in some ways similar to the stock market, and given that it's fluctuating, but it's very different, as we're going to talk about today. And right now it's like going through a bit of a crash as far as I'm aware. I'm going to go get up to date on some of these things, hopefully. And so there's a lot of talk in a negative way about cryptocurrency today. And that's why I felt like it was a very timely thing to address. So I'm going to pull up my Notion notes and we'll go through it bit by bit. If you are brand new to this stream, and hi, Kelly, thanks for being here. If you are new to this series, I compiled notes on Web3 in my Notion document. So if you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, you can actually see my notes broadcast. That's the only downside, in my opinion, to watching on TikTok is you can't see my the visuals of all of this. So Kelly, if you're a visual learner, you're going to see me looking over to the screen over here because that's what I'm showing as like almost like a presentation. And if you want to go over to a different platform, anyone who's watching on TikTok can actually click the link in my bio and that will show you all the different platforms. My username on YouTube, Facebook, bigger audience. If you have any specific questions, throw them in the chat. I will pause at any point to answer your questions. Cryptocurrencies combat inflation by creating a finite number of coins on a fixed schedule. It's not tied to a country of origin, so they hold and provide universal value and are able to be instantly transferred between peers worldwide, which saves money and time by cutting out the middleman. The middleman is a term that comes up a lot in Web3, and this whole idea of universal value I think is really amazing. And this is one of the big reasons I think people are very drawn to cryptocurrency, is this idea of combating inflation, right? Now, I also want to be very transparent with everybody that I don't have much of a financial background. I've been learning all this from like a very for lack of a better term off the top of my head, layman's perspective. It's like I'm I'm still trying to understand the stock market. I'm still trying to understand investing and retirement and savings and all of that. So as I'm studying Web3, I'm really looking at it from a super basic level. So I hope that when I share anything here in this series, that it's hopefully representing accuracy. But I really encourage you to not take my word for it, to go out and research it, and also let me know if there's something that I'm saying incorrectly, right? Okay, so next up, I know we talked about recently. I can't remember, was that yesterday? Or, I think it was 2 days ago when I talked about the blockchain and what means to be decentralized. But here's another definition for you here, which is blockchain is a decentralized, secure database technology. It refers to literal chains of data entered on a digital ledger as linked blocks. Cryptocurrencies are built using blockchain as their underlying database, allowing operations to be decentralized and facilitating instant and secured transactions. Basically, blockchain keeps crypto safe and enables transactions with anyone, anywhere in real time. That to me is such a great, quick definition of cryptocurrency, right? These cutting out the middleman, this not tied to a country of origin, universal value, and also keeping it safe and enabling transactions with anyone, anywhere in real time. And that's, I think, one of the big appeals to cryptocurrency, while people are really drawn to it. Now, what we're going to get into later is what's going on today with cryptocurrency that's scaring a lot of people. But hang in with me, because first I want to go through some of these notes on just making sure everyone's on the same page with what cryptocurrency means. Yesterday, I also talked a little bit about, or I think it was actually the day before, the blockchain. What does a side chain mean? So side chains are independent blockchains, such as the Ethereum blockchain. So you probably have heard about Ethereum, you've heard about Bitcoin. I feel like in general, Ethereum has like a lot of positivity around it. Like people refer to Ethereum as ETH, and it just feels like this. It makes me feel good, I guess. Whereas Bitcoin, for some reason, I feel more skeptical. And maybe this is because of just all the messaging that I've heard that I'm trying to challenge within myself. So the sidechain independent blockchains, such as the Ethereum blockchain, operate in parallel and are designed to be compatible with their main chain. Side chains can operate independent of the main chain with their. This is where some of the. Okay, I'm back. Because sidechains are designed to be compatible with their main chain, transactions and movement between sidechain and main chain are also possible. Okay. Sometimes when I read these things, I feel like I'm back in school and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need more visuals. Like Kelly was saying earlier in the chat, it's like I'm a very visual learner. So I wish I had some more visuals to pull up right now, but I did not plan that. Here's another note. In 2016, an investor named Joel wrote Fat Protocols, a 1,200 word blog post on USV's website that talks about crypto's place in the history of the internet and basically tries to answer the question, why are things like Bitcoin and Ethereum valuable? Although some argue that it's out of date, it's still one of the most talked about writings in the crypto world. So I will link to Fat Protocols for any of you who want to completely nerd out and learn more along with me. And I don't think I've read that yet. It doesn't ring a bell. Another person named Grant runs a beloved math YouTube channel called 3 Blue, 1 Brown. And he made a video called, But How Does Bitcoin Actually Work? So that's something else I will link to, especially for us visual learners. If you want to go and actually watch a video that explains the ledger system. That out. I think I put In 2017, Linda, an early Coinbase employee who now runs a crypto hedge fund, published on Medium a series of beginner's guides to crypto assets that aren't Bitcoin. Her guide to Ethereum goes down particularly easy and very simply lays out scenarios for how the technology can be used. For example, how Ethereum can eliminate the need for lawyers and escrow agents when you're buying a house. That's kind of cool. So another resource for you. So today is going to be loaded with links. I put all of the links for each episode in a few different places. The YouTube videos, I'll have the links that I reference in the description. The Facebook post, the LinkedIn post do as well. I can't do it easily in Twitter. Watching on Twitter or TickTok, if you go to whitneylauritsen.com/web3, you can find the other channels. And there's also the podcast there, which has links built in within it. So that way you can find all these references. I'm also likely going to build a whole resource database in the Discord server once that gets kicked off. So that way you can easily find everything without scouring around. Another resource worth checking out is to listen to The Quiet Master of Cryptocurrency. It's a 2017 episode of Tim Ferriss's show featuring an investor named Naval and the cryptographer and computer scientist named Nick. This was a podcast that got a Stanford person interested in crypto. And 2017 was an interesting time. It felt like a big pivot in this whole crypto world. So now I think we're back up. So I mentioned at the very beginning of this live stream today that I think it's incredibly important to put aside dedicated time. So maybe today I'll wrap up and keep my cryptocurrency notes pretty simple. Although after I finish going through my Notion notes today, I'm going to go dig into Twitter in real time to share some things that are going on right now in cryptocurrency just to make this super relevant. I wrote a lot of these notes on cryptocurrency like a month or two ago, so I'm trying to keep it very relevant because Web3 is changing every single day. And this is, again, I'll keep saying it. It is the reason that I'm committed to showing up on a live broadcast every day because I really feel like it's my way of holding myself accountable and you accountable too. So let's do this together. Anyway, so I'll link to those lectures. I'll link to Tim Ferriss's podcast. All of these resources will be there for you as promised. And a few notes here before we dive over in to see what's going on in the cryptocurrency world according to Twitter today. On-chain transactions refer to cryptocurrency transactions that occur on the blockchain and remain dependent on the state of the blockchain for their validity. On-chain transactions are considered valid only when blockchain has been updated to reflect the transactions on the public ledger. On-chain transactions for security and transparency, since they can't be altered once they're verified and recorded on the network. This is another thing that's very appealing about cryptocurrency, right? This transparency. This is one of the big words that I hear over and over again in crypto. And it's interesting, right? Because when you hear it in reference to how we've been operating financially before cryptocurrency really started to evolve, I start to like look at things differently, look at how I'm making money differently, look at how I'm saving, look at how I'm investing, what I'm buying. And that's part of the big appeal to crypto and why I really want to demystify it. So lastly, I would say that in terms of Bitcoin, given that it's so associated in people's minds when it comes to cryptocurrency, this was the first network-centric protocol for money. And what that means is that it exists without reference to an institution or platform. You don't owe anyone anything, nor does anyone owe you anything. It is not a system based on debt. It is a system based on absolute ownership of an abstract token. So again, hopefully these definitions have shared some of the appeal and demystified it. To me, a lot of this still seems a little bit overwhelming and like gibberish, but that's okay because a lot of things feel like that when you're first learning them. So I'm going to pull up Twitter right now in real time and go through and see what we can learn about what's going on in the cryptocurrency world. If you're watching over on TickTok, come join me over on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter. So you can actually go to my Twitter, which is @WhitLauritsen, WHITLA. ITSEN, just like my TikTok username and my username on most platforms. Over there, I have a few things for you. Mainly, I've been collecting people that I find knowledgeable and valuable in the Web3 world, and I have a Twitter list. I will also link to that in my references for today's episode. And you can go follow that list and just hold on a second. Oh, I see why. It's strange. I wonder if there's an issue with my microphone. Anyways, let's go over to Twitter. So if you, again, if you want to follow along, go to twitter.com/whitlauritsen. And if you click, there's somewhere that you can easily find this list. So I'm going to refresh this and see what people are saying, if anything, about cryptocurrency today. What's been interesting to me is that there's one thing that was trending on Twitter was Mark Zuckerberg. So when I clicked on it, it was all about how much of his finances are tied into cryptocurrency. And I actually thought that that was really fascinating, because it showed if somebody like Mark Zuckerberg, uh, seems to be very motivated by money, if he's investing a lot in cryptocurrency, it's like, okay, um, there's like validity to this, right? Like if you look at anybody who's really into finances, who's into investing, who seems to be very business savvy, whether you like them or not, there's still kind of like the proof of concept there if you need one. So if you're wondering why Mark Zuckerberg was trending, it was tied into all of this. Now, one thing I find when I visit thoughts and feelings. But generally, I stop when I see people that have these Twitter threads. So you'll see them, and it's on my screen right now for those watching. On my microphone switched again. Hang in there with me. For anyone that's not watching on TikTok, this is where all the challenges start to happen. My microphones basically automatically switch away from this microphone, and I don't know why that's happening yet. So I'm actually, the Twitter list, I feel like, is not helping me find information quickly. So another way I like to use Twitter is to just go and type in a keyword and then see what the top posts are for today. So let's see what the top cryptocurrency posts are right now. If you do want to check out my Web3 list, I think it just requires a little bit more patience and time. So if you want to set aside time specifically to dig into Twitter, I highly recommend it, because it's just like it feels like that's where everybody is talking about it. But you also have to be really mindful about who you follow and who you trust on there, because there's definitely people that are a little on the scammier side, right? So when you type in cryptocurrency on Twitter and you look at the top post today, there's a quote from Eminem. I assume, I haven't double checked the source, but it says, "We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm." Maybe that's just Eminem song lyric, but I think that's alluding to the fact that, like, cryptocurrency feels a little bit like a storm right now. It feels a little bit volatile, and people often are saying, like, you got to hold on. There's this term in the Web3 world that is HODL, HODL. Is that right? And I think that that's definitely how I feel. I've only invested a small amount of cryptocurrency relative to me and other people. I know a lot of people who have bought a ton of crypto. I also feel like diversifying. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing this. Like, I have a bunch of different crypto coins. I have my own on Rally. Um, So when things are going through these, drops, the crashes, I don't feel as nervous about them because I'm in here for the long run. I think this is really important for you to decide for yourself. Are you buying cryptocurrency as like a quick win? And my microphone switched again. Switch it back. Wish there was a way to like lock in my mic. Uh, gosh, to anyone who watches these live streams outside of TikTok, I just want to thank you so much for bearing through the last 7 days of tech challenges that I've had to work through. And I also just want to thank TikTok for being such a reliable, easy platform for this. Otherwise, broadcasting to a bunch of different platforms simultaneously has been a bit challenging to say the least. And like also having to look at the camera and then check my screen to see if my mic's on, like it's a lot. It's given me a great appreciation for live streamers. As I mentioned at the very beginning, if you're a live streamer and you've got this figured out, please let me know your secrets. What tools are you using? How do you troubleshoot? Have you had issues with mics like this? And any tips that you have. And if you watch live streamers regularly, like you're watching me right now, like just know how much work it takes behind the scenes, especially if you don't have a team. I'm doing this all by myself, and that's fine, but it's really hard to troubleshoot while you're live. So my big recommendation is, and this seems like the top tip on cryptocurrency today, which is really just to like ride things out and not get too nervous about it. I think that if you go through Twitter, it reveals a lot about people's mindsets and the shifts that are happening. Also, when you search for things, there are different accounts on Twitter that specialize in cryptocurrency news and information. So let's see, there's one that I'm going to go check out right now. It's Crypto Boom News. That's their username. And let's see what they have to say about what's going on today. It's the original source of the latest news, insight, and commentary about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, NFTs. Um, and let's see what they've been posting. This is really funny. I'm going to share my screen for this. So over their latest tweet was asking if McDonald's was still hiring because McDonald's posted, "How are you doing, people who run crypto Twitter accounts?" Like this is what I mean. It is about. I feel like sometimes ignorance is bliss, right? Like my lack of awareness about exactly what's going on has led me to feel less stressed. But people that I know that are deep into Web3 and crypto are like, you can feel their tension today. Like it's a rough day. Um, and let's see what else here. I'm going through this in real time. Also, if you're going through anything in real time and you have a favorite Web3 or cryptocurrency resource, drop it in the chat, DM it to me, whatever. I'm trying to like find every good source of information possible. Now, I always try to cross reference. So earlier today, the cryptocurrency news account that I'm on right now shows a graph of the Bitcoin and drop, but it says like, except with Bitcoin, the rise always comes unlike sometimes the volatility. It's not exactly like it is with the US dollar. And I think that's important to keep in mind because a lot of people's perspectives around cryptocurrency are rooted in like kind of old ways of thinking and different ways of money. That's why I spent the beginning of this session really getting into what exactly cryptocurrency is because we can't look at it in the exact same ways. We have actually is. And it requires a lot of sorting through information. One thing that I'm starting, I think it starts this Friday or next week, I'm getting into a whole Web3 training program. And it's, I think, 8 weeks long and super in depth. So I'm very excited to share everything that I learned because theirs is also based on this ground floor view of Web3 and also understanding the nuances and how we look at it. And I think that's incredibly important because if you're feeling fearful, if you're feeling confused, it evokes all of these intense stress, emotions, and anxiety within us. And money can often do that. So it helps to have like balanced perspectives from a lot of different people that aren't like making you feel like the world is ending. Like on this Twitter account, they have an image of a fear and greed index. And it says, what emotion is driving the market right now? And it seems like people are just so in between these feelings of extreme greed and fear that they just can't even care anymore because it's drained them so much. And like, I think that there's a pro and a con to that, right? Like sometimes when you don't care, it allows you to just like release your expectations and release your disappointment. So maybe look at that as a plus side if you're feeling that way. But also it can allow you to like change your perspective and then recenter yourself, because sometimes when our emotions become that extreme, we can't even think straight. So we have to stop. And maybe that's what's happening today with cryptocurrency, is that because it feels so intense for so many people, they're required to re-examine. And it seems like a lot of people are also looking at money differently, and trying to think about where else that they want to put their money and balance it, versus the times when cryptocurrency seem to be going really well and there's an upside and people are making a lot of money. There can be a lot of greed there, and there can be a lot of like bragging and like people boasting and getting in their ego and maybe getting an out of alignment. So I think that's a good place to end. I've noticed through my live streams, as much as I've wanted some issues with my computer that I'm going to look into. But when I come back tomorrow, same time, same place, I think it's going to be about the same time. I'm afraid to open anything else on my computer right now, to in fear that it's going to interrupt my live streams. But I plan to be back here tomorrow about the same time if you want to come join me, and ask questions or share anything or whatever you would like to do. But there's one or two things I'm considering I'm going to experiment with in the next week with this series. Is one, I might just have a block of time at the end of the live streams where I'm like silent and just researching. In fact, I might do that right now. I need like a piece of paper or something to hold up on TikTok. So maybe I won't do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll have like a study session where you, if you would like to, can just go study Web3, work on Web3, to look into what you want to buy, what you want to sell, a time for you to work on NFTs, whether you want to buy them or make them, or whatever else that you're interested in. I would love to just have that time set aside. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, my big aim here is to hold you and myself accountable. So that's what I'm planning. The other alternative is I might just come in a little bit more structured with more research done, seeing as it's really hard for me to try to like take in new information as I'm going live. If you have other suggestions aside from the tech issues, I know that they're there. I know I'm going to work on them, going to improve them. And also the length. I think an hour just gives time for people to come in and out, and for things to get fleshed out, but I may try to make these shorter too. So if you have any constructive feedback, I would love to hear it. If it's criticism about things that are out of my control or I'm already working on, like, I probably already know what you're going to say, but if you have like suggestions, topics that you want me to cover, if things feel confusing, if I haven't gotten to something yet, if you want me to expand upon something or revisit it, please let me know. Send me a DM, send me an email, reach out to me publicly on a platform like Twitter, wherever works well for you, and we'll make it happen. And then if there's anything, if you want to be there live but can't, like, I can always bring that stuff up during my next live stream and you can watch the recording. So again, if you want to check out any of the recordings, if you want the audio only version of it, the link is in my profile. I'm also going to pop it back up on the screen. It's whitneylauritsen.com/web3. That has all of the previous episodes. It has the audio only version. It has a link to the Discord I'm working on and links to all the different platforms where you can see these broadcasts each day. So I will hopefully see you again in a live broadcast that I do starting as early as tomorrow. I'll be back then, and wishing you all the very best with your Web3 journey, wherever it may take you between now and then. Bye.